It's certainly a beautiful setting, Lisbon, Portugal, yet some serious study happens here on a deadly problem. This is the headquarters of the European Monitoring Center for Drugs and Drug Addiction. It reports that while heroin use in Europe is declining, more people than ever are getting high from prescription drugs. Here in the United States, painkillers has been called a silent epidemic. Millions of Americans abuse these drugs, and an average of 46 Americans die each day of painkiller overdoses. It's a trend that's appearing in other parts of the world as well. CCTV's Hendrik Sybrandy has insight through the eyes of a recovering addict.
It all starts off so benign, you know.
His name for this story is Henry. He's a 27-year-old resident of Denver, Colorado, who was addicted to painkillers.
I would say that it is extremely prevalent. It touches almost everyone's life in some way.
Henry took his first prescription drug when he was 13 years old, then began using oxycodone and other opioid drugs to cope with a high-stress job after college.
We wouldn't do it if it didn't work. It's definitely euphoric. When you're in it, you really think there's no other way of life.
But then his life turned very sour.
Yes, there is withdrawal. My work suffered and my relationships suffered. It quickly becomes a problem.
It's huge.
Dr. Robert Valek of the University of Colorado School of Pharmacy says Henry's experience is all too common these days. He says a user's tolerance for drugs like OxyContin and Vicodin gradually builds.
And people start taking more and more and more, and when they get to a certain point, tolerance can turn to dependence and addiction, and it becomes very difficult.
Valek says proven effective pain management drugs are now very effectively marketed by pharmaceutical companies, and too often, he believes, overprescribed by doctors. Valek also says painkillers aren't properly safeguarded at home.
Everybody has kind of collectively, I think, gotten us kind of into this mess. Everybody needs educating.
Drug disposal events and prescription drug monitoring are some of the tools Colorado uses to fight what the Centers for Disease Control terms one of the top 4 epidemics in the country.
I'm extremely proud of what I've done so far.
Henry says treatment he was strongly encouraged to seek over a year ago has worked for him so far.
My recovery has only gotten stronger. Cravings subside, they get less powerful, I think about drugs less.
He has a message for the 52 million Americans the National Institute on Drug Abuse claims have taken pain pills non-medically.
There is a different way to live, and that it is worth it.
Hendrik Sybrandy, CCTV, Denver.